Hi everyone, Salesforce Integration Day 1. So today's agenda is we'll go through the integration. So we are going to start the integration part of it. And before that, I'll have my own introduction because few members who are joined for the first time for my classes. How many members joined for the first time? How many members joined for the first time? You are hearing me. You are hearing my voice for the first time. Okay, Sahu, Srinivas. Okay. So I'll just give a brief introduction about myself. Then we'll start the integration part of it. Then what is the purpose of integration? What is the purpose of integration? And how it is going to be different from the Salesforce integration? This is the generic term of integration. What is the generic term of integration? Then what is the purpose of using the integration and how we can use the integration in Salesforce? Then we'll have a trailhead link. Now, introduction about myself. So basically, I'm Swapna Kovnuganti. I have a 15 plus years of experience in software design and development. So over these years, I have worked on different domains like healthcare, e-commerce, banking, automobile, insurance, finance, right? These all different which I have worked on it. And I have worked on total 19 projects in my career so far on the different technologies. The technologies are mainframes. I have worked on mainframes. I have worked on MUMS programming language. I have worked on HL7 and I have worked on VB.NET. And then I moved to the Salesforce. Now, in the Salesforce, I have worked on total 16 projects. And I have experience in configuration Salesforce application using the administrator, also end-to-end knowledge I have in the Salesforce consulting, marketing, and service cloud. Along with that community cloud also, I have worked on it. So over this clouds, I have worked on all the configuration and customization from the design part up to the development, like using the Apex, Visual Force, Lightning Aura, and LWC component. Then I have worked on the integration part. In the integration, which I have worked on Salesforce application, integrating the Salesforce application with other application for UI, user interface, business logic, for security, for data, for all these 4 different types. I have worked on the integration part of it. So far I have a 10 cross Salesforce certified certifications, which I'm holding right now. Those are active. So you can look at my YouTube channel or a trailhead link. You can go to the trailhead link, just cross verify. My ID is this S Kovnuganti. You can check my all the certifications in the trailhead. Or else if you want to verify certification with my credentials, this is the details. And this is the LinkedIn profile. This is the LinkedIn profile. You can go to this LinkedIn profile. Let me ping you guys LinkedIn profile. So I'm pinging the LinkedIn profile as well as I'll ping you the trailhead link. At the end of the session, we'll ping you the trailhead link, and LinkedIn. Also, we have a YouTube channel. If you search Swapna for Swapna Salesforce 644, then you will get it. If you search Swapna Salesforce, you will get my YouTube channel. So we are planning to do the more videos. So just subscribe it so that you will get a latest videos in the Salesforce. And we'll also have a Telegram links. And right now I'm working in a multinational company as a Salesforce consulting manager as well as the architect. The training which I'm doing it as part of my passion. So I'm giving the training on Salesforce consulting, administration, and I'm giving the training on Salesforce development with Apex, Visualforce, Sockle, and Saucer. And I'm giving the training on Lightning Aura component, Lightning Web component. Then also I'm giving the Salesforce integration. So there is a new batch which is started in the morning, 8 to 10 Indian time. So that is going on Salesforce administrator. In the evening batch, we are going to start the integration part of it. So this is all about me, helping you these details, trial head and everything at the end of the session. So any questions, anything that you have about me, the trainer? Okay, so if you are hearing me for the first time, you can go through the YouTube channel. So with this YouTube channel, you can go through the demos, which I have already have the demos there. So I'm pasting the YouTube channel here. So you can go through the YouTube channel. There we have a different demo recording sessions. You can go through that. Also, we have a different sessions on the consulting administrator, as well as we have a videos on the Apex, Visualforce, Lightning Aura, Lightning Web component. Integration, we are just starting right now. So let's move on. Integration. What is the generic terminology? Like what you understand based on that? Like what do you know integration? When you hear, because nowadays everybody says integration, integration, integration. So what do you comes in your, what is that it comes in your mind whenever it says the integration? What is that comes into your mind whenever it says as an integration? Generic term, generic definition. What is the integration?
Integration is letting two systems communicate with each other, following certain protocol like REST or SOAP.
Okay, that is Salesforce terminology. Okay. In generic, what is the integration? It is a way to communicate between the two applications. Yes. Communication between the two different systems, connecting between the two organizations. Yep. Binding, connection. Yeah. The meaning of integration is communicating, integrating it, communicating it, communicating it. So that means in generic term, if somebody asks what is the integration? Integration is nothing but communicating between the two or more different systems. For example, let's take I have a system. This is some system which is there. Assume that this is some system which is there here. And if you know SAP, Java, whatever the technology, just think that that is the one system. And in other side, I have a different system, which is let's think it as a SAP. Okay. So as we are learning about the Salesforce, so what I'll do is this system is a Salesforce system. You can think of Salesforce, or if you think of any other, if you know any other systems, you can think of it. This is a Salesforce and this is a SAP, right? SAP or a Hiraku, if somebody is aware of the Hiraku. Okay. So let's assume that there are two systems are there. There are two systems are there. Now, whenever we have a two system, and if I wanted to enable the communication between these two, I wanted to enable the communication between these two. That means whenever you are exchanging any type of, could be a data, could be a metadata, could be a settings, or could be a services. Any data which you are exchanging between the two systems, exchanging the data is nothing but I'm exchanging here I have some data. Here I have some data. Now I'm exchanging the data from here to here. I'm exchanging the metadata. Metadata is nothing but the data about the data. So some data which I'm moving here, or else some configurations which I'm moving, settings, configurations, right? Or from here, I'm moving the services. So basically, whenever you are exchanging any type of, could be a data, any type of metadata, any type of settings, or any type of services, which is happening between the two different systems, or could be a two different, or two are the same systems. Possible that two are the different systems, or possible that two are them are a same system. Two of them are same systems. So that means if I have a same system, and within the same system, this is also Salesforce, this is also Salesforce, but this is a Salesforce 1 org, this is Salesforce 2 org. I'm exchanging the type of information here, type of data. Information is nothing but a data, type of configuration, type of services, right? Some data which I'm sending from the one org to another org. That means I'm implementing the communication between these two. Either this is sending the data or this is sending the data. So whenever you are exchanging any type of data, setting services, metadata between the two different systems or same system is called as a integration, is called integration. Or else in simple terminology, if I have to say, communicate between the two or more different systems, right? By default, it is a two systems. Okay, we have some another API which is there, another integration in the Salesforce. We can do it with a more different systems also, right? So between the two system, what are the communication which is happening is called as a integration. So mostly in Salesforce, we integrate with the third party. We integrate with the third party. Whenever I go in the real, whenever you discuss or whenever you are implementing the integration in the real time. So this side, it will be a Salesforce, and mostly we will be integrating with third party. Most of the times it will be a third party, could be any third party system. You take any third party system, could be anything. SMS is another third party system, right? SMS is the one. Another third party, Hiraku, MuleSoft, anything, talent, right? Data related, anything. So in the real time, Salesforce always integrate with the third party. Now, what is need of integration? Why should I need to talk to third party? Why should Salesforce need to talk to third party? What is the purpose of it? If I do not talk to third party, will I be not able to fulfill all my requirement within the Salesforce? Why it is needed? What is the reason for it? Now let's take an example. Let's take an example. For example, in Salesforce, we are getting the leads from the different systems. We are getting the leads from the different system. Like leads are generated through the web, right? Manually, multiple places it will be generated. From multiple places, like a web or a Facebook or any website, anywhere from multiple places, we are receiving the lead. That means as soon as the lead is created, as soon as the lead is created in Salesforce, what I wanted to do is I wanted to send a SMS to the customer. I wanted to send a SMS to the customer. If I want to send a SMS to the customer, that means I wanted to send like a thank you for creating the lead. A lead is created in Salesforce. We will contact back to you. So short message, which I wanted to send it to via SMS. Now, how we can implement. Salesforce cannot do the SMS. Salesforce does not have that much flexibility from the Salesforce. I cannot send a SMS to the customer because Salesforce is not a telecom provider. Salesforce is not a telecom provider. Telecom provider is a different one. Telecom provider is a different one where we have a SMS gateway. SMS gateway is This platform is a telecom provider. This platform is telecom provider. Now, within the Salesforce, I do not have a separate concept called telecom provider, right? Now, if I wanted to send a SMS to the customer as soon as the lead is created, whenever the user click on a submit button on the website, immediately within a fraction of seconds, I wanted to send an SMS to the customer. If I wanted to send a SMS to the customer, right? So we have a different platforms. There is another one, which is a platform. If anybody has worked on this way to SMS, there is something which is there way to SMS. So this, we can use this application also from web to way to SMS. So what we can do is as soon as the lead is submitted, so our Salesforce has to talk to this SMS gateway platform. Our Salesforce has to, as soon as the lead is created here, it has to hit the system called SMS gateway platform. Hit the system, send the details, and here we are sending the details immediately as soon as the details are received to the SMS gateway platform. It does some calculation, some logic gets executed, then immediately it will send the response back to the Salesforce. And in the Salesforce, as soon as it heard about the response, then it will send a response to the SMS to the a person, whoever is the person he is created. For that person, it will send an SMS. Or right. So, or else instead of waiting here, the another way is directly send a request to here. From SMS, I can directly send a message to the person. Instead of sending the response here, what we can do is directly I can send the response to the person here. Directly I can send the response to the person. That means lead is created, sending a information to the SMS gateway. In the SMS gateway, it is going to cross check some logic from the SMS gateway. We are going to send a details to the person. Whatever the number details are there, we are going to send that. That means to pass the data, what we are doing here, we are passing the data. Lead data, I'm passing it because SMS gateway platform need a customer information. Example, phone number. It required some phone number. So basically, we are sending the data to the SMS gateway. To pass the data, which are the feature is not available because SMS gateway platform is not available in the Salesforce. What we are doing is one way of the integration is to exchange the data. Another way of integration is something functionality which is not available in Salesforce. I need to connect to some other third party because that kind of a feature is not available in the Salesforce. So in order to do that, I need to send the data to the whatever the application is there. Right? So that application, I need to send the data in order to exchange the data between the system. We'll try to get the data or pass the data to the third party system, and from third party system, whatever the logic has to be done, it will get executed. Right? Another example, let's take another example. This is in our day-to-day life. So let's take an example of Amazon. Let's take an example of Amazon. In the Amazon, whenever you, for example, you are looking for a product, probably you wanted to buy a TV. So when you wanted to buy a TV, you are checking the multiple products, the best product you are checking it. Now, once you finalize the product, so first thing what you will do, you will enter the postcode. Because you wanted to check whether is there a whether they can deliver to this postal code or not, whether they can deliver the TV to this postal code or not, and how long it is going to take it. In order to deliver this postal code. Now, if you observe that, as soon as I enter the postcode, immediately my delivery status is going to change. It. Within a fraction of a second, I see that So as soon as I enter here postcode, sometimes I see that delivery is not available. Delivery is not available. That means they cannot deliver the TV here. If I enter some other postcode, immediately the output of the date, delivered date is going to change, right? If I enter the postcode of India, right? So in India, for example, Madhapur, so they will check whether is there a deliver option is available or not. If there is an option to available, so in case if it is not available deliver option to Madhapur, then we will give the another postal code, high-tech city. So we are going to just I'm entering the postcode, just I'm entering the postcode, right? I'm just entering the postcode. That means what is happening here? Here, this side, I have a Amazon. I have a Amazon system. And this side, I have a postal API, postal code API. We have a postal code API. Now, from the Amazon, as soon as here in the Amazon, as soon as I enter the postcode, I'm entering the some postcode here, 50080. As soon as I enter the postcode, immediately it is going to send the information to the postal code, and this API it is going to talk to. That means Amazon is talking to this third-party system. Amazon is talking to the third-party system called postal code API. So based on this postal code API, we will get a response back to the Amazon, and then in the Amazon, it is going to display whether this particular product can be delivered or not, can be delivered or not. That means here what is happening, Amazon is integrated with the postal department. Amazon is integrated with the postal department. It is integrated with the postal department, because all the post codes is maintained by the postal department. So Amazon has been integrated with the postal department. That's how whenever we enter the postcode, immediately we can see the option when it is going to deliver, how long it is going to take, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Sometimes it is not available to deliver also. Right? So this is also called as a integration. This is also called as a integration. Now, integration is nothing but whenever you are exchanging any type of data, setting, service, metadata between the two different systems or a two same system is called as a integration. That means we are exchanging the information across the system or a platform is called as a integration. There are different type of information shared over the internet. We are sharing the data. We are sharing the data, or we are sharing the resources. We are sharing the resources. So this resource is available. So we are sending the what are the resources are available on the Amazon to some other third-party system. And similarly, what kind of another information can be shared over the integration? Metadata. Data about the data. Metadata is nothing but data about the data. And then settings. Settings are nothing but a configurations. We are sending the configuration, multiple configurations which we are sending. Now, whenever you select in the Amazon, the product quantity, items 2 quantity, or a 3 quantity, or a 4 quantity, and then you are entering the postal code. So those configuration data we are sending to some other system. We are sending the configuration data to some other system, right? So that is also we are going to share over the integration. Also, along with this, we might share services. We might share services. So these are the different type of information is shared over the integration. These are the different type of information shared over the integration. Now we are clear about the integration. What is the information can be shared over the integration? We know. Now, what is the purpose of it? What is the purpose of it? How do I know that what is the purpose? Purpose is, as we have discussed, for the sharing the data or sharing the resources or getting the required information from the another system or sending the required information to another system or else extending the feature. These are the three different ways that we use a integration. These are the different ways why we need an integration. So whenever somebody asks, now we have this kind of a scenario, how you are going to implement. You have it, I have this kind of a scenario, how you are going to implement. If you see in that scenario, there is a purpose that I have to share a resource to the third party. I have to share a data to the third party, or I need to receive a data from third party, or I need to receive from the same Salesforce org, but it is a different org to the another Salesforce org. Whenever you see this kind of a requirement within your scenario, then we have to use the integration. The second purpose is whenever we wanted data, there is some data which we required from the different system, from the .NET system, or from the SQL, from the JavaScript, from the different system, I need some data, or else it's just a configuration piece of data which I needed. Configuration piece of the data which I needed. For that purpose, you use a integration, or else integrations are used whenever in the Salesforce, if you are not able to identify the functionality. For example, you received a requirement. The requirement is through the Salesforce, you wanted to do the billing. Or you, when I say billing, is nothing but from the Salesforce, through the Salesforce, we wanted to connect to the GPay account. I wanted to connect GPay account. So as soon as the Salesforce click on something button in the Salesforce, I wanted to connect the GPay. From the GPay, I wanted to perform certain billing action or a payment. Then once it is done, it has to redirect back to the Salesforce. That means we do not have some concept, payment concept, right? Billing concept, which is not exist in the Salesforce, which is not exist in the Salesforce. Way to SMS, WhatsApp, right? So if you want to send a messages through the WhatsApp, or if you want Salesforce and a Teams, we have something called Teams app. There is something called Teams app. So whenever the lead is created, you want to alert internal team members saying that lead is created in the Teams or in the Google chart. Salesforce with the Google chart. So those concepts, those features are not available within the Salesforce. It is possible that every application is not possible that including all the details, right? So only there is a limited information will be there. So, but we will have a flexibility that I can extend the Salesforce by connecting to the what are the application, what are the functionality in the different system. I can take that functionality through the integration and we can build, we can extend the feature. I have only 10% of feature, rest 40% or a 50% functionality is in the different system. In order to extend my functionality, my feature, Salesforce feature, or bringing the other system feature within the Salesforce, we can use the integration. These are the different places where we use the integration. Anytime in the real time, whenever you see the requirement from the client saying that any of these three, then we have to go for an integration. We have to go for an integration. Now, integration is divided into two types. Integration is divided into two types. The first one is called tool-based integration. The first one is called tool-based integration. And the second one is called programming-based integration. Tool-based integration is nothing but a declarative. We need not to do anything. Tool-based integration, declarative, we need not to do anything. Programming-based integration, it's a non-declarative where the developers has to write some logic here. Where the developers has to write some logic here. Tool-based integration is nothing but no need to do of anything development. Just admin can install these tools and they can start doing it. They can start doing it. So example for the tool-based integration. Example for tool-based integration is data loader, right? Through the data loader, we are doing the integration. But that integration is automatically built inside that. Salesforce is already built inside that. So we can just load the CSV file and I can click on a submit. As soon as I click on a submit, it is from the backend data loader tool is connecting to the Salesforce because I have given a credentials in the data loader. In the data loader, I have given a credentials And through that credentials, it will directly interlinked with the Salesforce. So just I need to do some kind of a configuration. I need not to write any logic for the data loader. I just need to do some configuration settings I need to do. Settings I need to do, right? So based on that, it will be automatically integration will happen. Similarly, Dell Boomi. Dell Boomi is also same. So when we install a Dell Boomi, we need to provide some credentials. Which are the application I'm installing the Dell Boomi. So that application details, I need to install it. Once I have installed it, there are some objects will be created as part of the Boomi, or some fields will be extra created in the existing object. So if I give some kind of a configuration, if I implement a connected app or some configuration, if I implement it, we can go ahead and do the Dell Boomi. There is no need to write off the any logic for the Dell Boomi, not required of any logic. And then MuleSoft. MuleSoft also very basic one, very basic one. MuleSoft does not require anything. Dell Boomi is another application. Dell Boomi is another application where we used to, it is basically data purpose we use it. So if you search here Dell Boomi, so nowadays most of the companies are started using this. So this is the Dell Boomi. It's another software. Basically, this is internally built integration will be there. So when you install this Dell Boomi, you need to do some configuration within this, and then you can play with the data preparation, data thing. You can play with the data basically, and you can send some data to the Dell Boomi, and then you can follow. So just go through this dellboomi.com. So it will give more information. So it is data related if you want to send any data related things. Right. And the MuleSoft is another application. Very basic level, you do not require any coding. Very basic level for the MuleSoft, you do not require any coding. You might need some type of a fields which are required in some objects, because MuleSoft is going to query the data in their system based on those fields. So which is does not require any logic there, very basic level. MuleSoft, I'm talking about very basic level, it does not require any coding. Then similarly, Eclipse or a Visual Studio, those are also integrated with the Salesforce. Visual Studio is also integrated with the Salesforce. You just need to authorize it. You just need to authorize from the Eclipse or from the Visual Studio. You just need to give a credentials and authorize it. Once it is authorized, then ultimately your Eclipse or a Visual Studio will be connected to the Salesforce. And migration, this is for the data loader part of it, right? So sorry, this is for the deployment, and migration, this is for the deployment. We use this for the deployment. So and migration is also another application. This is also when you provide the credentials in the file, there is some file will be there. In the file, you need to provide a username and password. If you provide a username and password, then it will also be kind of a declarative. Workbench, right? Even Workbench, Informatica, SAP, right? And Copado is also another tool. So there are multiple tools are there where you can just install it and start playing to that. So which is called as a declarative, which is called as a declarative tool-based integration. Tool-based integration, which is nothing but a declarative. So these are the declarative one. Now coming to the programming based integration. Programming based integration is, it is called as a non-declarative, where the developer has to write a logic, where developer has to write a logic. Now, what is the concept of having the non-declarative? You can say that I can directly install the tool and I can start playing with that. What is the purpose of writing the non-declarative? So basically, sometimes company clients cannot offer the payment, right? So they will say that because monthly they have to pay. If they go for Dell Boomi, or if they go for any other application, they have to pay monthly. They have to pay monthly. Now, if the client is not ready to go for that, in case the client is not ready to go for that, then what they want is they are going to ask us, is there a way to do that through the programming. If it is possible, then we will go with the programming. If it is not possible, we will tell them that we have to go with the tool-based integration only. But most of the times, what are the integration? For example, MuleSoft, okay, MuleSoft or a Hiraku, right? So if we want to extend the functionality of the MuleSoft, or if we wanted to extend the functionality of Hiraku, in that case, we need to go for a programming based integration. Now, in this programming based integration, developer has to write a logic. Developer has to write a logic. Now, that means they will be writing a logic. They will be developing the web service, which is called as a WSDL, web service definition language. Web service definition language. So they will be writing the web service definition language, and that includes the SOAP and REST API. So web service definition language. Definition language. And this includes REST and SOAP. REST and SOAP. Now, whenever we are implementing the web service definition language, not only the REST and SOAP, we have a many APIs are there in the Salesforce. We have not only the REST and SOAP, we have a multiple APIs are there. Example, we have a metadata API, which is also part of a SOAP, and it is called as a metadata API. That is a different API. And in the REST, we have a bulk API. Charter API, right? So REST is when you are implementing a bulk API, it is part of a REST. When you are implementing a charter API, it is part of a REST. Even streaming API, which is called streaming API. Streaming API is also REST, right? These three are REST. So whenever you are implementing a REST, right? So you will have a bulk API, charter API, streaming API, which are the one you wanted to go for it. So SOAP is nothing but metadata API is the SOAP, or else you have a tooling API, another one which is called as a tooling API. So SOAP is another one which we have a tooling API, which is a SOAP one. And another one is a partner enterprise API. Partner enterprise API. This is also SOAP. So at the high level, SOAP and REST. At the high level, SOAP and REST. But when you go inside it, REST, you can, most of the times we will go with the bulk API. Streaming API is nothing but one system is connected to the multiple system. Now, ideally, two systems, right? One system is connected to another system. But when you have a scenario is that when you wanted to implement a REST API and one system is connected to the multiple system, that means as soon as the action is fired here, you wanted to send the details to the multiple systems at a time. Then in that case, we will go with the streaming API. So charter API is basically charter information if you wanted to send to the another system. Now, SOAP is the one. SOAP is basically when you are implementing SOAP, mostly we will go with the metadata API SOAP, which is a standard one. Or else, if you want to go with the tooling API, you can go with the tooling, or if you want partner enterprise API. So if you wanted to send the details to the partner or enterprise, then you will go with the partner and enterprise, which is nothing but a SOAP. So in the real time, mostly 99% or 98%. I cannot say 98%. Let's go for a 70%. Okay. 70, 60 or 70%. Companies will go for the programming based integration. There are some 30% clients who just wanted to go for a pay the amount, whatever the amount is there, monthly payment. They wanted to go for the monthly payment and they can do. If it is a big companies, definitely they will go for this. If it is a startup companies, they will go with the programming based integration. They will go with programming based integration. It's all depending on the client. We can suggest it whenever we get a integration requirement. We can suggest the client whatever the tool based integrations are there. We can suggest it. The first place is suggest the tooling API. Suggest the tool based integration. This is already available, but you need to pay monthly this month. Are you ready to pay this? If they say that no, we cannot pay that. So because that discussion is going to take further 2 weeks of time. In the meantime, your developer or an architect will be doing the another research of programming based. So it is, we have to suggest both of them, right? So both of them, we have to suggest it. Which one is client comfortable, they will go for it. So this discussion will have a 2 weeks or 1 week discussion on this tool based integration, because we need to give a demo to the client. What will happen if I use this application? If I use this application, now what will happen? What is the things that we are going to get it? What are the benefits and how I need to use it? I need to give this entire demo to the client. So by the time the demo is happening at the other side, your team can start working on the programming based integration, whether we can implement it or not. If the client are fine with the tool based integration, we are perfectly fine. In case if they are rejected, we will have a immediate solution on the programming based integration. So that's how the discussions happens with the client at the high level. Now, so in the mostly in the real time, we will go with the, instead of declarative, we will go with the non-declarative. Basically, it is depending on the client. I cannot say most of, depending on the client, how they want it. So they will go with that. So let's see the programming based one. Let's see the programming based one, which is nothing but a non-declarative. Non-declarative, where the developers has to implement the logic. Now I have a system, this side one system is there, this side another system is there. Now this is basically, I'm going to explain here SOAP or a REST programming based integration, how we are going to implement, how we are going to implement. Let's assume that this is one application, this is another application. Now in that case, let's assume that this is a Salesforce system this side, and this is the third party system. You can take any third party system. This side I have a Salesforce, right? So if I wanted to integrate between the Salesforce to third party system, now these two side, I can implement, basically the integration happens in different levels. The integration happens in different levels. The first level is a security integration. The first level of integration is a security integration. That means how secure. Now, if I am sharing some data to the third party, is it secure or not? Is it secure or not? Now, can I trust it? Can I trust it? Now, let's take a scenario of it. Now, let's assume that you are, let's take an example of Flipkart. Let's take an example of Flipkart, right? So you have a Flipkart here, and this side you have a, let's say ICICI Bank. Yeah, data loader history. So here, this side I have a some bank. Now, what will happen is, now here the person is looking for some items, right? So some items he is looking for it. So let's assume that he bought something which is of cost 5,000, which is of the cost 5,000. The person is bought the some item which is a cost of, let's say 5,000. Now the person has, this is the person. Now this person is looking for some item here, and he liked the item which is a cost of 5,000, which is the cost of, let's say 5,000 Indian rupees, 5,000 Indian rupees. Now this 5,000 Indian rupees, he selected the item. There is an item, he has selected it, and the cost of it is 5,000. Now he has to go for a payment. He has to go for a payment. So there is one option will come here, pay the amount or bill the amount. So now he wanted to do through the, we have a different option to pay it, right? So he wanted to do that through the bank. On the spot, he wanted to do it through the bank. Now that means he has a ICICI bank or some bank which he has it. Now he has the ICICI bank, right? When he has a ICICI bank, now here, what happened through the bank he wanted to do. Now what we have to do here, we need to enter the username and password I need to enter related to the bank. Related to the bank, I need to enter the username and password. Immediately what will happen? It will connect to the ICICI bank and check his details, whether he has a sufficient amount or not. If it is a sufficient amount, then it will come back, say that it's saying that no, it has been successfully processed. Now that your payment is completed. This is usual things which happens in the real time. If you have done any payments to the Flipkart, from the Flipkart, we will be sending the details to the ICICI bank. Then we will receive the response from the ICICI bank, right? We will receive the response from the ICICI bank. So this is what it will happen. Now, where the user is entering the data here, whenever he is sending the information, a user name password of the ICICI bank, he is entering on the Flipkart. Assume that he is entering on the Flipkart. He is entering on the Flipkart. What is the username password? It is actually the ICICI bank username and password. It is actually ICICI bank username and password. Now, in this scenario, what will happen? Now, you are safe, it is a 5,000 is detected. But after 1 day, or after 2 days, right? Suddenly you see that there is a 20,000 amount is deducted. 20,000 amount is deducted. Now, who is deducted? We don't know. This person is not done anything. Basically, we have the person, what we call the person who is tracking here. Basically, there are few persons who does the gambling or something where they will track it, some IDs, right? So whatever the online transactions are happening, those online transaction somebody can take your credentials. So because you are entering your username password in the Flipkart, and this person can crack your username and password and he can take your details, right? Which is really happened in the US. So what is happened is in the US, they bought a laptop. They bought a laptop through the Flipkart and they have entered the username and password. When the person was entering here, the username and password, there is somebody at the back end who is always looking at the whatever the transactions are happening here in the Flipkart. There is a person who is sitting the back side of the Flipkart. The person cannot be visible. So he has taken the cracked the username and password that other person is entering it. He captured all those details and he let the person go for a payment. He let the person go for a payment. Then after that, whoever is there, this person has bought around $50,000 he has deducted from his account. Right, so there was some bank, he deducted $50,000. He deducted from this person account. This kind of a situation which are happened. So online is a very sensitive, I can say that. So this person is able to crack the username and password from the Flipkart. We don't know who is that person because Flipkart is somebody is sitting at the Flipkart, right? Now, whatever the data you are entering here, username and password, whatever the button you are clicking on it, somewhere it is storing the data in the Flipkart. And that Flipkart data is able to open. That means it does not have a security. whatever you are doing here, username and password, security is not there. Security is not there. It's a very, anybody can crack it. Anybody can crack that security. Hackers, basically, oh yeah, these persons are called as hackers, right? So this hacker can connect the Flipkart and he can crack it to get the username and password. Now, which username and password he is entering? ICICI Bank username and password he is entering on the Flipkart. So basically, Flipkart data is not safe. Flipkart data is not safe. So this is security issue. This is security issue. So the first thing, whenever you are connecting with the two applications, we have to make sure that security integration should be implemented. Whatever you are sharing the data from the Salesforce to the third party, are you sure that this is going to share with only that third party system? It is not shared with anybody else. That means nobody can crack that. So that security should be very tight between the two applications. That security should be too tight between the applications. Now, second one is user interface integration. Whatever the user interface integrations are there. Now you are entering some data in the user interface here. As soon as the data is entered, now you are showing the same data here also in the user interface. Now the screen is available, Salesforce screen is available in third-party system. Let's assume that third-party system is .NET. In the .NET also we have a user interface. In Salesforce also we have a user interface. So whatever the user is entering here in the user interface, if I open the same record in the .NET, it should show me the same data in the user interface. That is the second one which is called as a user interface integration. The third one is a logic integration. The third one is logic integration. Now, what are the logic? There is some kind of a calculations will be there, mostly for the billing, kind of the functionality which is related to billing, payment, or anything which is related to amount, the logic which we are doing it, the logic integration has to be implemented between these two. Logic integration has to be implemented between, and then finally the data integration. Finally, the data integration. So these are the different ones which are available whenever we are implementing a Salesforce integration. Whenever we are implementing the integration in the Salesforce, these are the different 4 ways we can go with the non-declarative integration. You can do the security integration. Along with the security, you can go with the data integration. It doesn't require that. Do I need to implement all 4 integration at a time if I wanted to go for integration? No, it's not required. So you might go with the security, with the data integration, security with the UI, security with the logic, but security has to be there. Security has to be there because whenever we are sharing the Salesforce data, client is very concerned about what kind of a data you are sharing to another person, right? What kind of a data you are sharing to any other person, any person could be, right? So they are very strict about the security part. So that's the reason security integration along with the data integration, you can do it. So if you want to implement non-declarative, these 4 has to be there. Even for the declarative also, these 4 should be there. Declarative is nothing but tool-based integration. For the tool-based integration is also, these 4 is required. So security is also required, UI is also required, logic is also required, data integration is also required. These 4 are required even for the tool-based integration, which is called as a declarative, right? Whether you go with the declarative, whether you go with the non-declarative, even for the non-declarative, also you need a data integration, you need a logic, you need a UI, you need a security. This has to be there. This has to be there. So basically, the integration is divided into 4 types. Integration is divided into 4 types. Security integration, UI integration, logic integration, and data integration. These are the 4 different types which are divided. These are the 4 different types which are divided. Let's assume that we have a, let's give me a second. Okay. So for example, we have a, for example, we see in the movies, this kind of a scenario we see in the movies. So basically, there is some gambling is happening or a spy, right? The spy members will be there. Usually we see in the um, Hollywood movies, right? So what is happening is there are two people out there. There are two members. Now, these two members are from the different state. This person is from the different state. This person is from the different state. Both are from the different state. Let's assume that this person is from the India. This person is from India. And this person is from Germany. This person is from Germany. Now, if the India person, very high level person this is, if India person want to send a message to the Germany person, want to send a message to the Germany person, because when you pass the some message to this person, then only this person will give the diamonds or a diamond or whatever the stuff is there. Okay, he will able to give that information or some kind of a information he wanted to give. Now, whenever this person want to send the details to this person, initially he sent a direct information. Initially in India, assume that in India we have a language called Telugu. In Germany, it is a different language is there, right? So both the languages are different here. Now, whenever this person has passed the information directly to this person, he did not understood anything. He has not understood anything. So he could not able to send the details back to this person. He sent a message, but he heard a message, but he don't know what he said. He don't know what he said. Now we need a mediator between. We need a mediator between this. Now, mediator is nothing but where somebody can take the information from the first person and send the details to the second person. Now, when the person here, when there is a person mediator is available here. There is a mediator is available here. When the mediator is available, so what this mediator has to do? Now, this mediator has to take the information from this person and whatever this person is there, mediator person is there, he should convert his language. He is having a universal language. He is having a universal language, whatever the universal language, whether it is a English or a Hindi, whatever you think, universal language, there is some universal language is there. So he need to take a information from this person and convert it as a universal language. Now, because he need to understand, first of all, what this person is saying it. How he can understand? By converting into the universal language, right? So he will convert it into the universal language. Then he will transfer the data by decoding that in universal language to this person. That means whoever is sending the data, whoever is sending the data, they had to serialize the data. They have to serialize the data. That means they have to send the serialization of data. Whenever you are sending the information, when you are sending the information to the another person, automatically your data has to be converted as a serialization. Your data has to be, you have to convert this serialization and send it to the person, send it to the person. And when you send it to the person, that person will be converting that into the universal language. Even for the system, even for the code also, we have a universal language. So whoever is the person is sending it, whoever the person is sending the data, he has to do the data serialization. He has to do the data serialization. That means whatever the data he is talking about it, he need to serialize that data and send it to the mediator. What the mediator will does is mediator will take the data and then convert that into the universal language. After converting that into the universal language, then he will send the data to this person. When he is sending the data to this person, he will deserialize that. He will deserialize it. Here we have something called deserialization. So here we have it. The person will be deserializing it. Here the person will be deserializing it and sending the data. That means every universal language, whether it is a language, whether it is a system, or whoever it might be, everything it has a universal language. Here it is a universal language, is a code language. Universal language is a code language. Now here what will happen? The person is sending the data. While sending the data serialization happens, and then it will take it as a then universal language. It will convert it as a universal language. From the universal language, whenever it is sending the data to this person, it has to do the deserialization. That means once while sending the data itself, we have to do the data deserialization. We have to do the data deserialization. That means converting the language from here to here, converting the language from here to here. Now, nowadays it came as a chat GPT. Nowadays we have received the chat GPT. Now, in the chat GPT, you can ask in the English, right? You can ask in the English. For example, if people is asking in different language, Hindi or some different languages, right? Arabic, right? They are asking in this language. When we ask a different language, whether ChatGPT will understand or not, it will understand. It will understand. How it is going to understand whatever the person is speaking, right? What it does, it will convert that into their own language. It will convert into the language. That means not only this, we have a Siri, right? There is a Siri app is there. Now, whether you ask in Telugu or whatever it is happening, in the Siri app, whatever you ask in Telugu, what it does, when you are asking the data to Siri, right? You can ask any data in whichever the language. Now, while asking the data here, what you are doing is you are serializing the data. You are serializing the data and sending to the Siri. And Siri will take that data and it will convert in his own language, in that own language. Then after converting that, it will understand, okay, what is the data that this person has asked. Once Siri is understood, then what it does is it is basically while answering it, it will deserialize it again. It will deserialize it in the language, whatever the language you have asked, it will deserialize it and it will send the data to you. It will send the response to you. Similarly, in the Salesforce also same concept. In the Salesforce also, we have a concept called Apex. In the Salesforce, we have a Apex, and in the SAP, assume that we have a ABAP. In the Salesforce, programming language is a Apex. In SAP, programming language is a ABAP. Right? From the Salesforce to SAP, whenever you are sending the data, whenever you are sending the data from here to here or from here to here, right? Which are the way. In between, we have something called universal language. Now it will send the Apex will send the data to the universal language by serializing it. So in this, we will be doing the data serialization and we will send it to universal language. Once the universal language is understood the data, what it does is how it will understand here universal language is nothing but a JSON or a XML, JSON or XML. So whatever you are sending it here, you are sending in the Salesforce format, right? When you have a complete format in the Salesforce format, whenever you are sending it, you are doing the serialization, right? So JSON dot serialization, right? XML dot serialization, whatever the data you are sending it, you decided which are the format you wanted, JSON serialization, and send it to here. And once it is received, then it will deserialize the data, encrypt it and deserialize it and send it back to the SAP. That means what is happening here, the code that I have implemented in the Salesforce, the language which I have implemented in the Salesforce, I am encrypting. That means I'm doing the decoding, encoding. So basically I'll do the decoding and encoding, which is called as a encryption. Encoding, decoding is called as a encryption. So whatever the language is there, with that language we are encoding it, and then we are converting that, again we are decoding it. Now who does that encoding, decoding, universal serialization, deserialization? Is done by the developer, is done by the developer. Serialization is nothing but something, whoever is sending the data, you are changing that language into understandable format of the JSON, like a JSON dot serialization. That means you are doing some kind of a sequence where the system can understand. System can understand. Serialization is nothing but where the system can understand. Deserialization is nothing but where the other system is understand. Now here you are sending the data to the universal. That means you are doing the serialization so that this universal language can understand the data. Now from the universal language to the, if you are sending to anybody, you need to deserialize it as per their information, as per their language, as per their language. Any questions? So basically here, serialization is nothing but, this is a kind of a process. It is a one of the process. It will convert the data object to the, this is a process. Serialization is a process. It will convert the data object, whatever the data is there, to a some combination of code, or the wherever the data, like I can say here combination of code. It will convert the combination of code. You can do it anyway, whether Apex or if you are implementing from the LWC directly here, then you can do that. Not only the Apex, you can do it if you are directly calling from the LWC or a Lightning Aura, you can do it. So here the serialization is, let me explain it. Now, for example, you have a here object. Everybody knows object, right? In Salesforce. So we have a object. I'm sending the details, object details to the, assume that some third party system, I'm sending it. Assume that some third party system, I'm sending the details. So when I'm sending the details, I said that it is going to serialize it. It is going to serialize. So when we say serializer, basically whatever the database is there, now it has some this side also, assume that I have a So in the serializer, it is what it does is basically if we have a file, database, memory, everything will be divided into the multiple pieces. Everything is divided into the multiple pieces. So this will be whatever the file information is there, it is going to place the file information here, right? And then if there is any data related is there, it is going to place it into the database. If there is any memory related issues are there, it is going to place it related to the memory. When you are doing the deserializing it, this everything will be combined together, and then you will converting that into the deserialization. That is also one process. It's like you are transforming the data to another way of understandable, system understandable, and then from that you are converting back to the whatever the another system. Here I have another system which is an object. In that way, it is going to deserialize it. It's just a process, I can say. It is not done by the universal language. We have to give it to the universal language. We have to give it to the universal language that I am serializing it and giving the data to you. Now it is your responsibility to give the data back to the another system and let them do the deserialization. Fine, Raj, Komal, is that clear? Okay. Any other questions? Right. It is better to do the serialized. Whatever the data you are sending it, who does the serialization? Whoever sends the data, they will does the serialization. In case if this person is responded, whenever this person is responded, what he has to do, he has to serialize it and send it to here. From here, whenever this person is receiving it, need to do the deserialization. Whoever is receiving it, they have to do the deserialization. Whoever is sending the data, they have to do the serialization. Okay, so let's move on. Now, the same example here also, the Salesforce. We have a one side, Salesforce is there. Now, whenever we are sending a request or sending the data to another system, there are three things which are important. What are those three things is, we need to be very careful on this because whenever we are sending any data to the another system, there are three things which happens in the Salesforce. You need not to learn the JSON. You need not to separately learn the JSON and XML. It is part of it. You can, that's an easy one. We will show that. I'll show that. Okay, so we have a Salesforce and third-party system. Whenever we are sending the details to the third-party system, there are a couple of things which we need to be very careful. First thing is a protocol. Whenever we are sending a details to the another system, the first one is a protocol. We need to check what is the protocol. Second one is a data. The whether serializing, deserialize, whatever we are doing it. And the third one is a security. Protocol is nothing but the TCP IP, which is nothing but transmission control protocol or internet protocol. So whether are we sharing the details to the another system to the TCP IP? What is the protocol that we are using it here in order to share the data? Are we using the TCP IP? Are we using the HTTP or HTTPS, which is nothing but a hypertext transfer protocol, or else which is nothing but a hypertext protocol secure? Are we using the protocol here in order to share the data, which is a HTTP, HTTPS, or are we using the FTP protocol? That is meant file transfer protocol, or else we are using the SMTP or a POP. That means it is a simple mail transfer protocol or a post office protocol. So protocol is important here. Whenever you are sharing the details, you need to know that which protocol you are following it, which protocol you are following it. File transfer protocol or a hypertext protocol, right? Simple mail transfer protocol or a post office protocol, which protocol? TCP IP, which is nothing but every system will have a TCP IP. Are you following the TCP IP standards? Right, transmission control protocol or internet protocol. So based on this protocol, we are going to restrict our data to only that particular protocol. We are going to restrict the data to only that protocol. And the second one is data serialization. That means whenever you are sending the data, whenever you are sending the data, whether it is a serialized or a deserialized, what is the format you are using? JSON format, XML format, or a text format, or a text format. That is the important. And the third one is security. How you are making sure that security is a good, right? Password based. Password based is nothing but the scenario which we have discussed. Here we have discussed the scenario, the password based, right? Now here the hacker can hack it immediately if you are entering the bank details into the Flipkart. In that case, what we have to do is we have to move, because Flipkart does not have a security. It is automatically open everything, whatever it is available there. So we need to move that username password to the ICICI bank. We have to move that details to the ICICI bank. Only the details it is required is connect to the ICICI bank. It required connect to the ICICI bank. Whenever I click on it, connect to the ICICI bank, it has to redirect it to the ICICI bank, and then username password has to be entered in the ICICI bank, so that it will have some kind of password based will be there. Password based will be there, right? So that is the password based. And the second one is key based. Key based is nothing but whenever you connect here username password. Now, for example, from here you are going to the ICICI bank and you are connecting to the ICICI bank username and password. Whenever you click on it, connect here, whenever you click on a connect or a submit, what will happen immediately? You will receive a verification code in the mobile. You will receive a verification code in the mobile, which is nothing but a key based. You have a double security there. So you have a key base there, key based. And the third one, third security, open authentication. That means open auth is nothing but, for example, if I wanted to connect Amazon, I do not need a credentials. I can connect it. If I wanted to connect the ICICI bank, if I wanted to check what is the loan is there, what is the loan is there. If I wanted to check, I can connect it. So the browser which does not have any authentication directly, I can go and cross verify some data, which is called as a open auth. It does not require anything. In real time, we use a HTTPS. So let me see if I can cover it, other things also like a FTP, TCP IP. I'll see if I can cover it, but in the real time, we use the HTTPS protocol. Okay, the third one here, security, is open auth. Open auth is nothing but where the browser does not require any credentials to cross verify your data. Example, Amazon, right? Example, book my show. You can directly go there and check what is the show which is happening, right? Or the sometimes the other application like a Dreamforce. Dreamforce, you do not need any credential. You can directly open and you can connect it. Like Trailblazers, these are the open auth. It does not need any authentication to review something, right? So those are open auth. And the next one is a certificate. Certificate is very important. Certificate is very important. Now, whenever you see this kind of a hackers are doing this kind of a situation, right? This kind of issues are happening at. Now you need to give some kind of a belief to the Flipkart, because whenever the person is here, he did not withdraw the $50,000. Somebody has withdrawn it. Now this person called Flipkart. Okay, nobody has responded properly. Now he lost hope onto the Flipkart. He lost the hope on Flipkart. Now, what Flipkart does is it has some kind of a history. Now, who is the person not doing active checking in the Flipkart? Now, Flipkart identified that this person used to do at least every day, one time he used to come to the Flipkart and cross verify the product. But from last 5 months or 6 months, this person is not visiting to the Flipkart. So Flipkart called this person saying that, sir, we have a good offer and you can buy it and there is a special discount, something is available. So they are going to call and try to impress the person. But he says that I do not have a belief in you because last time this is a situation happened, I lost my $50,000 and nobody has responded back, right? So I lost the hope in the Flipkart. So I don't believe logging in back to the Flipkart. So I do not want to do any kind of those things. Now Flipkart says that, no, sir, it is not happening anything. But the person will say that, how can I believe that? No, you are saying that we cannot, right now it is not happening, but how can I believe? So in that case, what will happen is they can show some kind of a details to the another person. Like we have this certification which is given by the government. So our Flipkart is certified, government certified. So whatever the activity is happening is the data is not shared with anybody. So it is certified by the government. Even if you go to the ICICI Bank, there is a certified uh, form will be there, right? So they can say that we are certified by the government. So government has given some kind of a certification and they can show that paper to this person and they can try to convince the person. So certification is certificate or ID card, which is very important to make another person saying that we are certified company. We are certified company in the government, right? From the government, we got a certification that everybody can believe it. So sometimes people start believing it when they see the certification from the government, right? So if it is a brand is also kind of a certificate. And next one is SSO. SSO is single sign-on authentication. Single sign-on authentication. What is this means? Now this means I have a Amazon account. I have a Flipkart account. Amazon, Flipkart, and I have a Netflix, right? Netflix, and I have so many apps are there. So many apps are there. Now I have, let's assume Facebook, Instagram, so many apps are there. Now it is very difficult to remember the credentials for this, right? In that case, what I can do is all these credentials I can simply connect with my Google account. Connect with my Google account. So simply I can say that single sign up. Whenever I click on the Google account, now while connecting it, simply I can click on a Google account. It will log in back to these, what are the sites are there, I can log in with the Google account. So with a single password, I can connect it. With a single password, I can connect it. Similarly, in the Salesforce also, we have a single sign-on. So Salesforce is this side, and we have a different kind of a partner community portal, customer community portal, different things will be there. Now, whenever the user cannot remember the details of the partner community, customer community, or a digital or experience cloud, those all, they cannot remember that. So what they will say that, can you just implement the single sign-on authentication? Just by using the Salesforce credential, they can directly log into the what are the communities we have, they can simply log into that. They need not to enter the details. That is called as a SSO, single sign-on, which is called as a single sign-on. And the next one is called AD. AD is nothing but Active Directory. Active Directory. That means not at the Google or a Gmail, like a Windows level. Usually it happens with the MNC company. In the MNC company, based on your Windows authentication, Windows credentials, there is Active Directory is saved in the Windows or your system, whatever is there, based on that credentials, it will be connected. So very rare of the other Active Directory to using the Salesforce integration. Mostly we will do the key-based, SSO, password-based. These are the things which we use it. Any questions so far? So whatever we are sending from the Apex to custom language is called as a sending, which is also called as a request. I'm sending the request and I'm receiving the response. Requesting it, responding, response. This is requesting and this is responding to the Apex. Sending, receiving, request, response. So that's all for today. And we have I'll give you the trial head link. This is the trial head link. Just go through this and see if you can able to do that. And then course content, just a quick summary on this. Like we are going to check SOAP API, REST API, request and response data, how it is going to be the integration design, consideration, how we can do the design and consideration, what are the things we can consider it, and what are the governor limits and the API limits. And we will talk about the JSON server to server integration, how can we implement server to server integration, and how can we share the post in the LinkedIn from the Salesforce. So this is also will do one practical, and publish, subscribe, record, share between the Salesforce org. And Salesforce and Bitly integration, then Salesforce and AWS integration. So we will do with the different systems and HTTP callout. How can we do the HTTP callout? So that's all for. So those are the some updates on the course content. How deep we need to know? It's not mandatory that how deep you wanted to know. If you know it very well, good, that is going to help your further growth in your Salesforce career. For the beginners, if you are starting your Salesforce career right now, it is better to know only the basic things. If you are already working on it and if you are planning to move your career further, architect level, it is better to know the in-depth, because you don't know what kind of a requirement you receive it from the client. So that time we have to deal with it. Let me stop recording.